Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to MCubed and Sidetrack. We're jamming out today. We've got some fun stuff to talk about. Not a whole lot. There is a decent little bit of news this week for film and stuff, which is nice because it's kind of been a little bit lacking with all the strikes going on and stuff. But there is some striking news. Not necessarily striking news, but Marvel VFX teams have joined IATSE in a unionized vote, and they are now unionized. So that's kind of cool and relevant within the strikes and stuff. Disney and Spectrum have reached a deal after a 10-day impasse, and that 10-day impasse could have done a couple of different things in a couple of different ways, and it was very interesting the way it turned out, because cable might be back in a way that we didn't think it was.
It was so interesting that I saw this story and couldn't be asked to read it, so you're going to have to explain it to me.
We've got this. But you know what the most exciting thing is that we're talking about today?
Aliens.
You know, I wish I could say it as good as what's his name from the History Channel, but aliens.
I mean, it's aliens. We know it's not aliens, but it's aliens.
They look suspiciously Asgard-like, which made me happy.
They do.
They did. All right, shall we roll this intro?
Do it.
I'd say we just jump in right on aliens. Where do we even start? Howdy, everybody. Howdy, Sidetrack. We're Sidetrack. Sci-Fi Quest. I was reading Sidetrack right there. Howdy, Brett. Howdy, David. Howdy, everybody.
Hey.
Where do we even start?
Let's start on the interesting topic, the aliens. What the actual, right? So these two little alien dudes have been presented.
Mummified and presented.
Yeah, well, non-human alien corpses, which is an oxymoron, but we'll let that go because I'm just reading this on the Independent, is displayed at the Mexican Congress, basically. So not just like in a shoe cupboard somewhere, in Congress.
In one of the largest nations on this planet.
Yeah, and they think there's 1,000 years old. But on the, I just love on the story that I'm reading, it says has stirred excitement in the alien conspiracy community. Alien conspiracy community? That just makes us sound like nutters. But
you know,
anyway,
I mean, it looks so much like an Asgard. That's the first thing I thought. I think I put Instagram stories with a little Asgard behind it. It cracked me up.
It's made out of clay to me as well.
It does.
Something I'd have made in clay when I was in school and not very good at making things out of clay.
Do you think that is? Oh, I didn't see. That's interesting. Obviously it's mummified, which makes it look more clay-like, but it has that large, small body, large head that we were kind of used to in Aliens. Obviously, us Gators, we like us some Asgard. But you've seen this before, right? This skeleton that we were like, it's in some museum somewhere.
So that basically is a 2-hour documentary, and their conclusion was we don't know what it is. So I'm in two minds about that, but I'm not Dr. Stephen Greer's biggest fan. I think he did an amazing work early on in his career, getting all those people together, and doing the News Corps thing that he did. But then he has gone on to just try to make money out of UFO. I think he makes big claims that he has no intention of backing up, and it's just a con, basically.
Is he the guy that found the skeleton a long time ago?
No, he didn't actually find that skeleton. He just let me just turn my green screen off because my green screen's just in the corner, and that's what's messing my thingy up. But he was just it was presented to him, and he basically paid for a load of research to be done, and they looked into it, and the conclusion was they didn't know what it was. They think it's a pygmy, basically. It's a deformed pygmy baby, but they don't really know what it was. The interesting thing about these things that have been found today was, though, that assume it's not a hoax.
Yes.
There has been work done. So there's a Mr. Mausan. Mr.
Yes.
M. He was one of the. There was a public hearing today when these things were presented, and they actually said that they had removed DNA from the Asgard.
Yeah.
And they had radiocarbon dated it. They believe from radiocarbon dating the objects are at least 1,000 years old, and that when they did DNA samples, it was found that over 30% of the specimen's DNA was classed as unknown. X-rays of the specimens were also shown during the hearing, which experts testified under oath that one of the bodies is seen to have eggs inside it.
Ooh. Oh, that's what that. Okay, I see.
And while said to have implants made of rare metals such as osmium. Ryan Graves, Americans for Safe Aerospace Executive Director and former U.S. Navy, was in attendance, having earlier said the U.S. Congress of the threat of unidentified aerial phenomenon posed by U.S. national security. Here's the interesting bit at the end. Mr. Muasan has previously been associated with claims of alien discoveries that have later been debunked, including 5 mummies found in Peru in 2017 that were later shown to be human children.
I could see that. This could be a pygmy or a small child, I guess, but the skull. Howdy, everyone. Damn it, Harris. I love everyone saying howdy. It makes me happy.
Howdy.
Be happy.
The British
obviously
say hello.
We want to believe, like we want it to be an Asgard, an ET. We want it to be something, you know.
Adding the eggs is it's an alien drug mule. That's what it is.
It just kind of seems like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it's 1,000 years ago, could it be an extinct off-branch, like small little population of pygmy humans that were living somewhere and they were found or something?
Well, as you know, that I don't
used in the mines.
The thing is, mate, as you know, that I don't believe in evolution, because I generally think that if we all came from monkeys, how come there's still monkeys? So hello, 2 and 2. You don't know if I'm joking or not, do you? Are you trying to figure out if I'm joking or not?
I am trying to figure out.
Sorry, it was a meme that was shared with on my post a couple of days ago with some woman going, evolution. If we all come from monkeys, then why they're still monkeys? Hello, and like she's being really clever, and it was like, you're wrong from the beginning. We didn't come from monkeys, you idiot. But anyway, so. It could be something that was evolutionary that's evolved and disappeared now. Of course it could be. And if something's mummitized or mummified naturally as well, it does distort. The skin shrinks, all the fluids remove. So it could have looked very different when it was, alive. So maybe.
Do we know how they've... Okay, they found it in the mining shaft, right? Or an old mining shaft or something along those lines. So it was mummified naturally and not necessarily by a group of people. So, okay, so there could be some things in there that are iffy. Make it a little less valid.
Unfortunately, as you guys know, I used to have a conspiracy and mystery channel called Mystery Machine, and we spent 3 years going through all the different mysteries, UFOs, all these sorts of things. I was actually talking about this one of my that I did those channels with, that videos with last night, and he was still saying, look, you don't believe aliens are visiting the Earth, because that's why one of the main reasons I stopped doing the channel. I stopped believing in them, because every time I dug into anything, I always found that there was almost always, not always, but almost always, there was a very logical explanation behind the mystery, or the witnesses were very dodgy, or things like this. Everything I did, it just, and I started to get really depressed with it. I'm just like, I'm wasting my time. There's nothing here. I'm not going to argue that aliens don't exist and intelligent life doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced they're visiting the Earth. And that is such a depressing thing for me, because I've always been convinced they were, And I actually generally think that if they could get here, they would, because I actually think intelligent life is probably very rare in the universe. So if an alien species discovered us, they would come here to like research us and, you know, learn about us.
Yeah.
I'm just not convinced they are.
Are you convinced they ever have?
That would be different, because there is some evidence to suggest possibly. There is DNA evidence that's very suspicious. There's things like this. But if they did, I think they would continue. And like I said, I actually think Nick Pope is another one who's a big UFO conspiracy nut. And if you actually look into his history, he's a bullshit artist. Excuse my French. The man is straight up a liar, allegedly, because I don't want to get sued by him. Or is it? No, he's not a straight up liar. That's not fair. Actually, I'm going to backtrack that slightly because I don't want to get sued. But also, it's not quite true. He's an exaggerator.
He's hyperbolistic.
He dangles strings and lets other people say, "Oh my god, that makes you the real life Mulder," and then he just doesn't like argue with them. So that, I think that's fair. But he actually said something that's really sensible. He says that 95% of stuff that we see isn't true, is explainable, I should say, isn't UFOs. It's the 5% of stuff we struggle to explain that's interesting. And that is true. But as you research these things, even like some of the famous ones like Roswell, there are like explanations behind it that make more sense than a UFO crashing. You know, there are very few UFO sightings that don't that aren't explainable in some way.
That aren't debunked, yeah.
Yeah, even the famous Pentagon videos of the Tic Tac, the Speedster, and the gimbal. There are people out there that say there are very mundane, very boring explanations for this, and their arguments are quite convincing.
Corridor Crew, that VFX house that I bring up every now and then, one of their like off and on kind of series that they always do, one of their Sunday video series, I guess, is debunking UFO or debunking like Sasquatch videos or debunking this. Yeah. And just their VFX house, they can kind of figure out what's practical, what's not. Did someone put a little effect in here? Did they not? Did they just tweak a little camera movement, or what did they do? And it's interesting to see. It was a balloon.
Always a balloon. That was a running joke on our channel, actually.
This happened today or yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think it was because it hit our thing today, and obviously you guys are like 8 hours behind us, so it was either first thing this morning or it was yesterday. I'll have to have a look. But yeah,
I think it was within the last 24, 48 hours.
If it's not true, or if it is another hoax. Because again, remember, we've had loads of these hoaxes over the years, and it always says. Then the Mexican government are going to be really pissed off because they're going to make it stupid.
So in the thought process of that, there was a great comment earlier. Oh wait, was it? Why show it now? Maybe all that hype made them see they were missing a payday. Possibly. I just love the fact that the Mexican government was like, you know what? All this, the U.S. government, all these other different people, they keep releasing all this UFO stuff. Hold my beer, or excuse me, hold my cerveza. Here's aliens mummified in the middle of like our one of their judicial courts. You know, one of their like most official places to hold anything.
Yeah. Don Campbell actually just said it was a test balloon. If he remembers, I've actually realized what he's talking about. Roswell was probably a balloon, and that is the most ridiculous thing to actually say, because it's an ongoing joke, isn't it? It's a balloon, but it was actually a very top secret. I want to say the project was called something like Marduk, but I'm saying that off the top of my head, Martok or something like that. And it was to a very, very high altitude balloon that could sense for nuclear weapons going off, because they were going to see what the Russians were up to. So it was highly, highly experimental and highly secret. And it crashed. So the Americans went nuts, closed everything down, lied about it for like 50 years, and then very recently said, no, actually, it was this balloon thing. But the problem is, obviously, because they lied so much, now we don't believe them. And I can't help but think, oh, they're the boys that cried wolf. And then they're going, I think it was the test balloon. And then people have been trying to get a payday off it ever since.
It's good because I mean, there's a lot of people out there that do just want a little extra something in their pockets and a little extra something to line their pockets, but there are also some of these guys that if they didn't believe in what they're doing, I don't think they'd be doing it. There are some that definitely would be doing something like it no matter what. They're just con people at heart, and that's just kind of like. But those they're not easy to differentiate all the time necessarily, but they are differentiatable. Is that a word?
There are fantasists though that so want this to be true, they just make up stories and they just make it up. There are people like Robert Cooper that just, to be honest, lie, and I think he did it for the notoriety. And he was a con artist. He was. I mean, if you actually look into the warts and all of his history, it's colourful, to say the least. But he says he saw UFOs, but because he was an astronaut, people believed him. Astronaut sees UFO and sees aliens. Yeah, he was also caught in a few little con tricks later with car dealerships and things that got him into a lot of trouble. Bob Lazar, I think I believe a lot of what Bob says. I actually think it might be true. But there's so much stuff there that you're like, you're making it hard for us, Bob.
He's making it hard, but also he's one of those few that I think he would fit in the category of loves it so much, is so into it that I don't know if he's convinced himself it's real, but one way or another, he believes like it is real. So that's the mind's a powerful thing. Could someone convince themselves that these things are real as well?
A lot of Bob Lazar's credibility really came from the fact he was one of the first ones to talk about Area 51. But what they don't tell you was it was well known in Vegas area about this base, and that one aircraft used to fly out, the Janes Airways used to fly out to this base with these people aboard. It was known. It was just nobody ever talked to a news reporter about it. But it wasn't.
The internet wasn't there,
and the internet didn't exist. He was just the first one to cash in. So, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult.
Iffy. It's really iffy.
And if you actually look at these things with an open mind, without cognitive, you try to ignore your cognitive bias, even though that's actually impossible. And it was, I'm not cognitive bias, I open mind. No, you don't. It's not physically possible. But you just do your best to understand these things from you. If you do that, you have to consider both sides of the argument, and you have to look past just the interesting story that someone's telling. You have to try and look into the thing behind it. And a lot of the time it's depressing. And I got called so much shit for this.
But at the same time, all those people that are very gung-ho on debunking, they're very much in the exact 180 camp of the people that are trying to prove it's real.
Mm-hmm.
So they could be leaning into their bias just as much.
I think we have both the argument.
Truth somewhere is in the middle, but
I remember talking about 9/11, and this is a few years ago now, but I actually genuinely think there are some of the conspiracies that go around 9/11 are just ridiculous. They're just stupid. And I tried to talk about it really respectfully, but what I ended up doing was annoying both sides of the argument. The conspiracy nuts who think it was a controlled demolition and all this sort of thing went absolutely good for me. And like I say, I had death threats.
Oh, God.
But the people just believe it was complete accident and there was no conspiracy. And I'm like, there's quite a lot of evidence to suggest at least some of this. I think the American government has at least known about it and maybe let it happen. The Pentagon bit is very dodgy. But they went for me as well. So it's like I had both sides of people just having a go at me. It's just like you've got to try to look at these things, let the evidence take you somewhere rather than try to find the evidence that suits what you believe. And that's
whether you're able to completely look at it objectively or not, look for the most general rationale and not necessarily the biased rationale, I guess, or at least attempt to. That's always easier said than done. Brett,
I also had the Flat Earth Society come after me as well. I was really mean to them in a video.
Oh no!
And I got a strongly worded email off them.
You were like, "Sorry, you're wrong. Have a good one."
It's like, you an idiot. I wasn't very nice about him, but yeah, the Earth is a globe. I'm afraid.
Oh no! This cracked me up. specifically because while I was giving blood yesterday, which is why this wasn't a Movie Tuesday stream yesterday, it was supposed to be 2.5 hours. I was there for almost 6. It was a lot. But
yeah.
I watched District 9 while I was giving blood, which I love District 9. And that comment made me immediately think of District 9. I can't wait for District 10 when they eventually do it.
Hopefully. Is it actually definitely happening now? Or is
Neil Blomkamp has confirmed it. And like it's been in development hell for however long.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. I read something about it not long ago. I'll see if I can find out what's going on with it. The problem is that these strikes, everything's in the air now.
It's all South African. Even if you get Sharlto Copley back, the guy that played it, he played in Beast alongside Idris Elba. It's all South African film.
Oh, yeah, they could, in theory, get going anyway. Well, the strikes. I think we've got 3 or 4 months left of these strikes potentially, but that's not too bad. If they're thinking about development work now, there's stuff they can get done in there in that time.
Yeah.
Particularly if they've already got a script they're happy with. There's plenty to get done in 3 or 4 months.
And thankfully, a lot of the like A24s and Neons and smaller, bigger, smaller studios is the better way to say that, I guess, are capable of getting a lot of projects out that they were planning to do anyway, and they're kind of given the golden platter at the moment, which is beautiful to see. It's beautiful to see.
Before we move on from the aliens, so what do you think? Genuine? Potential? Maybe?
I attempt to stay objective. I want them to all. I want every single thing anybody says to be real. I want it. I want them to be here. But I don't. We haven't been shown anything just proof wise, like strong enough that's just completely convinced me of such, I guess. So I'm open to all suggestions, conspiracies, thoughts, etc., etc., etc. I won't subscribe to something, I guess, until
I wouldn't waste any serious time on it.
No, and that's kind of where I'm at. That's just like someone plan out the evidence and like get the debunk, then let me watch both, then I'll kind of make a decision.
Yeah, it's interesting in the meantime.
Yeah, that's more like where I'm at.
I'm with you. It's very interesting, but
well, I don't know. But Stargate does touch on that a little bit because the Asgard were humans that clone themselves or human-like, very similar to humans at least, that clone themselves into being little green men. Maybe they were the ancients at a certain point.
They looked more like humans at one point. Yeah, I'm watching Stargate Atlantis at the moment, and the Pegasus Asgard just turned up. Very happy boy.
I hope they're used. I loved the idea of a Ronin movie going into Pegasus, and actually, I think that'd be the best way not the best way necessarily, but I like that avenue of.
I think we'll talk about it at the weekend because there's been a lot of people saying they're not a big fan of that idea.
Really?
And I just think about from maybe a slightly boring, if I was the producer, if it was my money and Jason Momoa was interested, I would scrap everything we've done to that point and I would make a Jason Momoa Stargate movie as a 2-hour advert and then kick off into whatever else, because you're pretty guaranteed you're at very least going to make your money back. That would just be my only reasoning for it. Stargate fans might have gone, really? But everybody at the studio will be going, yay, Jason Momoa. That's all they'll care about.
But even for Stargate fans, it might not be like that thing where we want SGU to be kind of finished. We want SG1 to pick up somewhere again. SGA is kind of, even though it may be a good portion of the fan base's favorite, it's kind of that one in limbo, because SG1 would be like the natural team to bring back. SGU would be like the conclusion that's necessary, I guess. It'd be nice to kind of have SGA bridge that gap in a certain way.
I would like to see him. Like I say, he has, some whatever reason, left the SGC. He goes out. He's trying to fight the Wraith. He finds out that there's a threat against Earth. He comes back. 2/3 of the way through the film, he turns up at the SGC, and then we see some of the familiar characters, and then those familiar characters then have to battle in. It's still a Jason Momoa movie. He's the main star for 2/3 of it. He's going to be all over the posters. executives will all have massive erections, hoping that they're going to make a lot of money. If they're men, they might be men, might be women.
Either way, it's Momoa.
And Jason Momoa. And yeah, and then the Gators could be happy as well. That's a lot of people say it won't be Stargate, because it's just a Jason Momoa film. And I'm like, yeah, but we want the film to be successful. That's the main thing. The film has to be successful. If it's not, it's going to kill the franchise. So we're not going to get a Stargate movie. Or we might not. Anyway.
But even if it is a Ronan Dex Jason Momoa film, they would have to play into what was if he's back in the Pegasus Galaxy, because he flew with them to Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if he's back in the Pegasus Galaxy, maybe Taylor went back with him to be with
Ronan's on Earth, as far as we know.
Yeah. So I guess they would have had to transport him back at a certain point, or
yeah, but we've got ZPM, so we could go back just to another gate,
or just use the different gates in the sky.
The gate bridge was knackered when we saw it, but because the Wraith hacked it, and they got smashed up, so the gate bridge was knackered. But they had a ZPM, so they basically just ZPM once a week, so they don't only have to have another address, as far as I know. They could gate back to the Pegasus. They can't use the hyperdrive engine. The thingy engine.
The
wormhole drive, because it's broken, and they didn't hate. And Sam told us she didn't know how to fix it. So I don't want any more comments on the damn channel about the wormhole drive.
All the comments.
Broken. Leave it alone. They might have fixed it by now. It's been 10 years. So.
It's been a little while.
And like I said, John Campbell, I said we've got ships that can fly there as well. So there's no reason to say that the Daedalus or whatever else, the Hammond wouldn't be going back to the Pegasus Galaxy for stuff.
That's definitely true. I feel like that would be a good way to bridge the gap. If we have an excuse, a reason, all these possibilities, capabilities of putting Ronan back where he's from, which is probably where he'd like to be, even though his found family might be on Earth. I would think a lot of them, even if they were stationed on Earth after Atlantis went back, and Atlantis didn't necessarily, if Atlantis stayed on planet, I think some of them would go back to Pegasus. Mm-hmm. Maybe not all, but I think Shepard would. Shepard would probably go back to Pegasus with Ronan, honestly. Mm-hmm. That's just, I'm trying to rationalize for the characters. For the movie itself, I don't think that would probably happen if that was the case. It could be cool to see Ronan and Taylor still kicking out there, though. Taylor, her people have thrived, maybe. Maybe Ronan has had to team up with the Jedi to outrun and try to find a good way to fight the Wraith while the humans on Earth aren't over there. There's different factions of people.
There's loads of ways they could do it.
You mentioned the Pegasus of Asgard. The Asgard of Pegasus, whatever I'm trying to say. They would be great for him to team up with. They're a little more aggressive, a little more militaristic. So that would have been.
I'd like to see him on his own, though, for a big chunk of the film, because I want to see it strip back to something simple. If it was me, I'd want to see him in the woods with his gun for a good chunk of the film.
Running?
Simple. Yes, running, basically. Just really simple, predatory, traps, fighting from the Wraith, fighting for his life. And then over the thing, it getting big, more people come in, and the film gets bigger as towards the end of the thing. But I'd quite like it to be simplified and, a little bit gritty at the start, and see where we go from there. That'd be cool. I think. Hey, we're not in charge, unfortunately, and apparently
my brain's just fan fictioning now.
Yeah. I've heard a little bit about this is a source. But he's like talked to a friend who's talked to a friend who's talked to a friend. So it's one of those sort of rumors. Okay. But apparently the director, who hasn't officially signed on, has basically virtually scrapped everything they've come up with so far and wants to change everything. So
is it who I'm thinking it is?
Possibly. That's who we think it is.
Oh, but I
won't say, because I think it's unfair, because it's just in case. But we think it might be him. And he wants to do everything different. So apparently it's caused loads, because there's been loads of infighting between MGM. We'll talk about this at the weekend as well. There's been loads of infighting between MGM and Amazon, basically. Jenny Stivens talked about this loads, how they can't seem to make their bloody minds up. And this is why we keep going, the different rumors we've had over 2 years. It's just been like, okay, well, now we think we're doing this. Yeah, now apparently we're not. Apparently they're doing something else. And it's gone on and on and on. Because, there's just all these different ideas bouncing around. Apparently the movie is still on. It's still going to be the cinematic movie, because that's the only thing that apparently Jennifer Salke is like. She's basically going, I want a movie. Well, okay, any other ideas? No, just do a movie. And she's basically just gone, right, there you go, just get it done. She doesn't. It seems she doesn't care what the actual result is. She just wants a movie. So great management. So it's gone off, but I think it's the director on this. I think so there's been loads of development work and stuff, and obviously we think Penguin and Parker's been involved a lot, and a lot of stuff's been done. We think there's a script, but they've brought the director in because that's like the last step now, and the director's maybe gone, this isn't right, we've got to change this, and this. And I'm like, but the one person I was speaking to said he was speaking to somebody who they're really, really pissed off over at MGM, because they said we didn't have any direction anyway, and now we've got none. We don't know what's going on now. And I don't think that's
you hire a director for direction, and if it's a director for hire, if the director didn't develop it themselves, then they are a director for hire. You can't come in there and change everything.
But the director won't sign the dotted line while the scripts are on. That's the one thing. He will not sign up to it out of respect for what's going on. So he says as soon as these things are done. So apparently there's loads of stuff going on, but it's all unofficial. And I did speak to another person. I sort of explained this to them, a friend of the channel, and they sort of said that's common, that's normal. There's just the director comes in, and then hopefully you start getting a lot of things, because until then there's just loads and loads of executives going, this is a good idea, this is a good idea, this is a good idea. There's not the director one decision to get focused.
Yeah,
because he expects everything to get focused now. But it's
if you
still
change it all after. That's the hard part.
Well, the nuisance is because of that we've got these sources. Normally, we wouldn't know anything about this.
That's true.
But we know every little thing that's going on, and it's just although we know bits. I always keep trying to tell people we only see slithers of what's going on. There's loads more going on, I think, but we see slithers of it, and it's confusing as hell. And it's but hey, William Arnold. Aaron's, sorry. Thank you so much for the contribution, sir. That really helps the channel. I don't know who it goes to because they're on both channels. Oh, I'm monetized. You're not. I get it. Thank you. With Momo, there would be a problem with the audience of Atlantis he is inhabiting. Is it Stargate Atlantis or Aquaman's Atlantis? No, I think it would be Stargate Atlantis. But then all you do is you bring in Joe Flanagan. Done.
Yes. No, I got a phone call. Let me real quick. Do you mind if I hop out and just answer this just to see what it is?
Yeah, I'll just sit here and talk on my own.
You've got this. 20 seconds. I'll be back. Actually, never mind. It just hung up. So we're good. I'll call you back later.
So unprofessional, Harris. I don't know what you're doing.
Well, it could be an important one. I don't think so though. We'll be good. Okay. No.
You know where he's coming from.
I hope it's Stargate Atlantis, not Aquaman Atlantis, of course. What did you just ask?
There would be some confusion, actually, to be fair. I've not thought of that. There will be people that think this is an Aquaman movie because some people are that thick. You couldn't.
That could actually hurt it more than it could help.
You just don't call it Stargate Atlantis.
Yeah.
You just call it Stargate. I call it Stargate Revenged in the in my thing. So you just don't mention Atlantis. I think that's an easy way around it. Just don't mention it.
Or instead of saying Logan's Run, it could be Stargate Ronan's Run.
Hey, as long as Jenny Agate is in it, she gets naked at some point, I'm on board.
Rohantis. Ronantis. That sounds almost Lord of the Rings like. Honestly, It'd be good. Stargate would have to be
the movie. Sidetrack the movie starring Ronan Dex and me.
You got that. As long as I can cameo as Eris Box Jr. in the background somewhere, I'm fighting for this semi-imaginary character.
It's just me, 5'7" of me fighting Ronan. I'll be a wraith. It's easy.
You got part of it down already.
Done.
See, now you need fake teeth, long white wig, and lots of prosthetics. Perfect.
Done.
Perfect.
On it. What was the other topic we were going to talk?
So, I think we'll do the union stuff at the end. That's easy to just crawl back into.
Explain Disney, the Spectrum thing to me, because I don't know and I don't really care. So go for it.
Well, you might care just because you got a family to pay for film and stuff. How many streaming services do you pay for at the moment?
All of them.
Do you pay for cable?
We don't really have cable. I have satellite, so I have Sky TV, which that's where I basically get my HBO from, because we don't have HBO Max here. So we have Sky Atlantic, which has all the HBO stuff. I have Disney, Paramount, Amazon, and Netflix.
That Peacock, Paramount, or no?
I said Paramount, didn't I? I got Paramount.
You might have.
Yeah, I'm watching Paramount mostly. Oh, and I've got Apple, obviously.
Yeah.
So I've got like 6.
Okay, so if you were a subscriber to Spectrum, or if you're a subscriber on satellite,
subscriber computers. I thought it was a computer company or something. I really didn't read the story. Spectrum over here is a computer company.
It may have been. It's essentially Time Warner Cable. Spectrum is what Time Warner Cable was, if that's an easy way to think of that. So what Disney has done, because they had an impasse not with just Spectrum, but YouTube TV and a couple other cable television providers. And they figured those out pretty quickly, and they were kind of like their normal deals. They were just kind of like figuring out prices. Like Disney doesn't want to pay so much. They're kind of trying to save some cash right now. But we still want to get cable's a big enough area where it's a necessity for them to still invest in. So they had a 10-day impasse, which is kind of a longer impasse than usual with Spectrum, Time Warner Cable, for putting Disney content, ABC, ESPN, Disney Plus stuff, et cetera, all on cable. And, ESPN and ABC particularly, and the Disney Channel and Disney XD, all these little sub-channels they have, are all Disney channels. Like, they're all channels meant for cable. So if you subscribe to cable, you get all of those as usual now that they have passed their impasse. But the weird thing is Disney has now made a deal. If you are a cable subscriber to Spectrum, you now get Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, all of the ABC stuff. I'm not sure if you get Hulu or not, but you at least get ESPN Plus and Disney Plus with your cable subscription.
Okay.
Is this more likely
Wi-Fi though, sort of thing?
Say what?
So I've got a similar thing. That my Sky TV, I get Netflix free with my Sky TV. So is it that type of thing?
Yeah,
I actually watch it. I have to watch it through my Sky box, but it comes through the Wi-Fi. It comes through the internet.
Yes. So it'd be the same thing. Essentially, with these two big of companies doing that, and if they're already doing that across the pond, that it'd be kind of a simple thing to keep in effect, or maybe in North America and all these other different places, maybe put these streaming services that are proving to not be as profitable as they probably wanted them to be, all these different companies. Will it be more profitable to just go back into the old cable kind of service and have them just be offered as subsidiary channels to your cable package? Do you think we're seeing a return to cable in the way that we thought streaming was just going to destroy everything?
I think it's possible, because I think... So I was thinking recently that I might get rid of the Sky TV, right? Because I say we pay for it and it's quite expensive, but we get a deal that we get our broadband as part of it. So it's actually, with the broadband and the Netflix included, it's actually quite a good deal. I think it's only about £40 a month or something, where our broadband was £40 a month on its own before. So we bundle it all together and it saved a lot of money. And I was thinking about getting rid of it because now they've got this thing called Sky Glass, which is you get a TV and you get the broadband and you get all this, and it's about 50 quid, but they actually give you a TV as part of the thing.
Oh,
and it's basically,
insane.
yeah, it's really good. But it's Sky through the internet, so there's no dish anymore. The problem is my broadband is so unreliable and drops out so much that I'm just thinking, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be watching TV, and all of a sudden I'm going to be able to bloody watch it because the broadband decides not to work for half an hour. It's never half an hour, but it stutters in it. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't want to do it at the moment. If my broadband was more reliable, I'd do it, but it's not. So I just don't think I can quite do it. And also, then it's putting all of the strain on the broadband, isn't it? So there's nothing coming through the dish. If the broadband goes down, I can still watch TV.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And it's like everything. But to be fair, the Sky dish thing we have now, more and more of it is on the broadband anyway. If you want to watch anything like the catch up, it's got to be downloaded. It all comes through the internet. So then on the other hand, I think may as well just. The problem with cable is it's got to be affordable, it's got to be reliable, and it's got to have enough to it. I don't want to see 500 channels anymore. You want to see a much more focused 200 channels, you know?
Or 12 streaming services for cable. Is cable going to be what Amazon Prime is trying to kind of do, or a lot of these different kind of places where they're hubs? Cable could immediately swoop that out from Amazon and just say, hey, you were born and raised with all this, or you were raised with all this, or you might have been born into it and not remember it necessarily, but guess what? Cable's still a big part of life, so come on back. Come back to us.
Well, it's still the biggest provider, isn't it? Is it like 60% or something of Americans still watch all this TV through cable?
I believe so.
Something like that. I looked into it about a year ago when I was doing a video for something. I'm sure it was something like that. But also the thing is with the crunch and everybody trying to spend less money, one of the things people were saying that they were just reverting back to cable because that's what they know. So they were just getting rid of their streaming services. It's
so if the streaming services go to cable.
Yep. They thought it was going to be 50-50 within a couple of years, I believe, but that might have changed now. But yeah, if streaming services, if the cable services start throwing in the biggest streaming services as part of the deal, that'll become the normal because the infrastructure's there, isn't it? The technology is already there, and people have already got it in their homes, and it's reliable. So if it's cheaper, people will do it.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I was kind of excited the last 5, 8, 10 years. I mean, that's kind of like my young adult kind of growth period in life. I was like, oh, I get to be part of this new age of TV and all this kind of stuff, and it's been fun. And I don't know if it was the pandemic or what, but that wave of TV kind of feels over in a way. Even though we still get Last of Us, we still get House of the Dragon, we still get Ahsoka, which was amazing yesterday.
It was, other than the end. Space whales, really?
Are you? It's the Purrgil are the best thing in the freaking world. I love the Purrgil.
Right. Okay. We had this in Star Trek, and they had a bunch of space babies, and that was stupid. I didn't like that. I thought it was ridiculous. The rest of the episode was great.
What about them was? I guess
they're space whales that can travel between galaxies.
Well, that's what inspired hyperdrives way back when.
What? Why?
Not necessarily, but that's a good prevailing idea of thought.
Made that up. You just bent over and pulled that out of your arse.
Possibly, but I have heard it mentioned before, not from any actual creator.
There's weirder crap in nature than that's. There aren't any weirder crap than space whales that can do that. But
let's go find real space whales. I'd like to find some.
You've got that zombie ant, and as soon as you learn about things like the zombie ant, everything else makes complete sense. The rules go out the window as soon as you think of things like that. So,
all right. Yeah, no, I guess I literally finished Rebels 2 minutes before I started my rewatch of Rebels. I finished 2 minutes prior to starting the new episode of Ahsoka, which was perfectly. And yeah, they were in Rebels. They were
Yeah.
great. They're like tardigrades, but for
Tardigrades.
space in a certain way, you know.
That's a Star Trek reference. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Discovery
tardigrades are real.
tardigrades, and there were these, and then we had this like the Discovery can go anywhere in the universe instantly, following using a spore drive because there's these mushrooms in space, and they just have these spores everywhere, and the tardigrades could navigate it, so they could just jump in and out wherever they wanted to, and it was the stupidest thing.
I kind of like it. Does that mean like the mycelium would be talking to each other from far distances, and the
it was stupid.
tardigrade were able to?
I wouldn't think about it too much, mate. Your brain will hurt.
I don't dislike the idea though, but I don't necessarily like it with normal technology. It'd have to be like some weird biotech or something.
It was supposed to be like weird technology that was, but it was just stupid. Don't honestly, it was the most ridiculous idea. And then technology that the Federation just forgot about as well. Like, oh, that's fine. We won't bother.
Huh. But no, I would not want to be under a space whale when they need to go. That'd be terrifying. But and also it'd be very terrifying because in Rebels it is shown that they eat gas. So the same thing that like we fuel our tanks to fly around the galaxy, the Star Wars galaxy with, is the same thing that the Purrgil are eating, which probably allows them to hyper jump like the way they do. So
that's how
being under them while they're going to the bathroom would not be a good idea.
Yeah.
Might be a little fiery. Talk about a blowhole. That'd be that would not be enjoyable there.
Yeah.
But I love the concept of them, that they're this like ancient kind of creature, and they're very whale-like in the sense of whales on Earth are way smarter than we ever give them credit for. They're far more intelligent than we can even understand. We can't even understand them. We know they have language. We know they have history to a degree. We know they're smart. Kind of same thing with the space whale. I don't know. We can talk all day.
I'm not a big Star Wars fan. In Star Trek, we've got space creatures as well. There's a great episode of Next Generation called Tin Man, where there was this ancient space creature and it could travel at warp or whatever. It looked like a giant seed, but it just smacked me as stupid. But I'm not the Star Wars fan you are, so.
Well, I think most of these folk are forgetting this is a space opera, a space fantasy. This is not sci-fi. It's not like
no.
It's
robots feel pain. It's like,
yeah.
That in the second episode, that woman punched a robot and it went and I'm like, and so I made a comment on our little group, didn't I? I went, have they always felt pain? They go, yeah, it's Star Wars. Oh, so Star Wars has always been stupid, is what you're saying? And Story was like, yeah,
it's meant for 12-year-old boys. People forget that. They put themselves in it so much, and it's just like you forget you're not necessarily the audience for this. And it's supposed to be a fun thing for all ages. It's a family thing. If it were badass sci-fi, which it does lean into occasionally, we would have a lot more. There are already a good amount of decapitations, hand cut offs, and things like that. There would be a lot more of those. Where there are some now, there would be about 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 4.
A couple of the projects coming up, they're going to be grown-up Star Wars, isn't it? We're going to go a bit grittier, I think. I think Hayden Christensen was going to be in this, didn't we? It wasn't a surprise.
Yeah. No, he was in the trailer.
Okay, that's good, because I knew about that months ago, and that's what I thought everyone knew. Yeah. And then I saw a couple of people go, "Oh my god, he was amazing!" I didn't know, and I was just like, "Oh shit, did I have a big spoiler that I didn't tell anyone?" So
no.
don't do that. So I get told things sometimes and I don't care, so I don't tell anyone. But anyway,
yeah, no, I loved it. 12-year-old girls now, damn, Canucker. That's whatever.
Yeah, it can't be sexist. It's 12-year-old boys, 12-year-old girls, and 12-year-olds.
Well, no, George Lucas wrote a movie for 12-year-old girls, and he produced it, and it did not do very well. It was a little animated one that I think from 2005-ish, 2007. Not 2005, that's Revenge of the Sith. I think it was 2008-ish, 10-ish, something like that. And that's quite the accomplishment. People like to be pissy. I forget that sometimes.
Not even
Some
pissy,
people
it's
are just
stupid.
inherently not happy with life, and they like to
It's
put that out
stupid.
there.
It's stupid. But
It's nature. It's a
a bad,
fantasy.
like you said, though, it's fantasy, it's sci-fi. Stupid isn't necessarily a bad thing. And at the end of the day, it wasn't a big dragon thing. Eating a child and then spitting it out several days later and it being fine. That was stupid.
Yeah.
Capital, italics, bold. And
That one was dumb.
Mandalorian.
This one was
stupid.
meticulous, beautiful, artful, and it was years in the making. But if you didn't watch Rebels, you wouldn't know that. So go watch Rebel Circuitry. Go watch Rebel Circuitry. Is garbage for children? I kind of want to block this dude.
No.
If you don't want to talk about this, don't talk about it.
It's an opinion. He's allowed an opinion. It's fine.
Of course. But we're excited about it.
We can be wrong. Everyone can be wrong.
Of course. You don't have to negate other people's excitement about things, though. That's stupid. That is stupid. Did I hear correctly about Snow White going straight to Disney Plus? I'm not sure about that. I would not be surprised. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't get released, and Disney's like, let's take that profit back and write it off, kind of deal. I think
the timeout's fair.
Aye.
Are there any moderators? I assume somebody's done that then, because I forget who's moderating.
We have a moderators in here. I don't know how to do all that. Matt's fancy. He's the tech guy. I'll just
Sarah's the moderator, I think, so she can sort us out.
Yes. Use the magic. Yes.
I'll use the force to put him in a timeout for 5 minutes.
I'm just saying, my friend.
That's how I use the force.
Be happy, man. We were talking about Disney and cable, and then we got on Star Wars from Disney and cable.
Yeah.
But shall we end it with a different Disney property that has now voted to, or has had one of their most frivolous and large aspects that make them work that they have been neglecting for years and years and years? Vote to unionize or join a union.
Do you know what they've done there, though?
Huh.
They've basically made the CGI companies around the rest of the world very, very happy.
Very
happy.
They're
going to be busy because Hollywood will just go, oh, right, okay, so in Hollywood, all of our CGI workers are now unionized. India's got some really brilliant CGI engineers. Let's do that.
All the people doing all the Bollywood and Tollywood movies right now are about to get hired.
Yeah. Europe as well. There's loads of really great CGI companies in Britain, Germany. There's a big tech companies in Holland, whatever. They're going to get busy. I hope they don't. I hope the union just allows them to get what they deserve, because then they work hard and they've been seriously overworked, and that has shown in the end product that they've been over damn worked. But in all honesty, what will happen is they'll go abroad and they'll pay pence on the dollar.
I think so. I like the idea of it a lot. I think it is necessary that they are treated in a different way than they have been and not overworked to the degree they have been as well. Marvel literally fired someone who's been there since day one with Kevin Feige at the end of last year. One of his two top lieutenants. Like, if Kevin Feige were to retire and be like, not necessarily retire, but say, all right, I'm done with the MCU, one of the two people that would have been like, all right, let me put my name in the cap, she gone because she was not handling all this correctly. And now it's seemingly because of that, or at least partially because of that. Here we go.
Yeah. Would you argue, though, that the whole strike issue is actually going to be very good for entertainment industries around the rest of the world? It's not just going to be the CGI and everything else. I actually think we're already seeing big productions go around the world. Is this just going to accelerate it?
That's part of me is excited and part of me is terrified, I guess. I'm kind of, I like earlier, I need the debunk theory, and I need the full biased alien theory, and then we'll meet in the middle
Well,
somewhere.
at the end of the day, TV shows are made all over the world, and they just are. We're seeing places like Nigeria and things like this having just like really thriving TV and movie production facilities. India, China, less so China. Let's not ship it to China, because then anything that gets made has to be favorable towards the Chinese government, and we don't need that.
The CCP has screwed up film as a whole. Very bad for Hollywood. Yes.
You're all right, Secretary. Don't block it.
Real quick. Just so we can put it in the past real fast. I just can't believe there are adults that take Star Wars Space Whale seriously. I don't think anyone's really taking it seriously. It's literally us just enjoying something from our childhood. I think you're the only one taking this seriously, my friend. Like Rebels is a cartoon. We're just having fun and enjoying a space fantasy. We're not trying to take it seriously. I wasn't gonna block you. I never was. I don't believe in blocking people like that. I really don't. I wasn't.
And we don't know how to do it anyway.
I also don't know how to do it. but that's the thing. We're not taking it seriously. It's just it's literally a fun thing meant for children that we can enjoy as an adult when we go back into a childlike frame of mind. It's not something that's like, it's not sci-fi. It's not, I want this to make sense and I'm going to be pissed off if it doesn't make sense within the laws of physics. It's a space fantasy.
It's stupid, anyway, but it's okay that it's stupid.
It's lovably stupid. It's like lovable oafs, and Star Wars is full of them. That's one of the best parts.
I actually do know to block it, but it's fine. The only ones I'll block is because occasionally we get we don't get them very much anymore,
which is great. We should not
coming up. We kept getting porn links. I get rid of them pretty quick. But you just click on the 3 dots and put the person in timeout or ban them.
John, they are real. I want to believe. But I don't know. I need the evidence. I need the debunk theory as well. And then we'll meet in the middle. I'm going to keep going.
I want to ride on the back of one going, yeehaw, with your cowboy hat. Yeehaw, woohoo.
You know how excited I would be? I don't think I would ever stop smiling. I'm pretty sure I would just be stuck on the whale. The VFX house, though, going back to that, because they're the people that would be, they're the same studios, I guess. Actually, no, Lucasfilm has their own in-house studio, so they're not necessarily the same people Marvel's working with. But Marvel, I feel like, will end up going like you just said. I thought that was going to come up in the conversation later, but you hit the nail on the head. They're going to go to Bollywood. They're going to go to Tollywood. They're going to Nollywood. Nigeria is the fastest growing country in the world, and it is also the fastest growing film aspect of anything in the world, which is crazy. It seems like Bollywood's not necessarily so much film oriented. That's more Tollywood per se. Tollywood and Nollywood, I think, are the best spots for creativity in the world at the moment, which hurts Hollywood, which kind of sucks because I live here. I moved here to do something very specific, and this is that place in the world that's good for that, but it's losing its magic. You can feel it here, and people can feel it everywhere.
Yeah. I say Britain has been making most of these films for years anyway. A lot of the Marvel movies were shot here. Ireland, Britain, New Zealand. These things are made all over the world. They're a big effects company. We again go back to Stargate. The rumor is the effects company was going to be doing it before everything went put on pause was German. There's a big German tech company, and they're well ahead of most of the world in lots of things. So, excuse me. It's just that's just the way of things. And my only worry is that I've said this on live streams before. We used to have a really good car industry in the UK. We kept going on strike. We now don't have a car industry in the UK. That's what Hollywood is at risk. That's the risk for Hollywood, that actually the big studios will just go, we don't need you. They need the actors. They need big A-list actors at the moment. They need those actors. They do. The rest of them, they don't need. Let's go abroad.
I would kind of caveat and say they might not even need the A-list actors. What's something that we've talked about the last kind of year or two, Anthony Mackie kind of brought it to a lot of people's attention, was, hey, I'm not a movie star. I'm just the Falcon. People know the Falcon. They know Captain America. They don't know Anthony Mackie. Chris Evans and the Chris's are kind of like the new age movie stars, But even, I mean, look at the Extraction 2 numbers. It did well, but go down the street and ask how many people watched it. It might be 2 out of 10.
Netflix will never tell us, but it's actually really good. I really
Oh, I
enjoyed
love
it.
it.
It's much better than the first one.
I know you liked it. I know you liked this one, but I didn't watch it because it did not get the best of reviews from audience or critics. Was Ghosted, the Chris Evans and Ana de Armas on Apple.
Okay. It's like an old school action movie.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's good laugh.
I just like, even that though, it didn't get eyes, you know? There weren't very many people that viewed it. So
because it's on Apple. Nobody watches it. Apple's the smallest of the major streaming.
If you have that movie star, it would attract them nonetheless. I think that those
money
too. But we just don't have the movie star like we used to. And I think that might really hurt. It might be the perfect storm where the lack of a movie star, the strikes happening, and then smaller studios and studios outside of Hollywood are still able to work.
Yeah.
It might turn the industry completely on its head.
And it's fine because you've got Britain and we actually develop actors that can act. So that's a bonus. You tell me one of the best actors in the world right now that isn't British. That's a proper actor.
You're watching Only Murders in the Building right now. There's 5. There's 6.
Oh, that Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd.
Is he not a proper actor?
How much is he going to do? How much Shakespeare is he going to do? Come on.
He can do Shakespeare if he wants to. Did you not see? I mean, he definitely leans into funny, but he can do serious. He's great. The bear has been poked. The bear has been poked.
It's no his worst. Texan actors. You tell me one good Texan actor. Is it pronounced Texan, by the way? Texas, by the way. Is that how people from Texas pronounce it?
How else would we?
I heard somebody pronounce it really weird, like Tejas or something.
Oh, well, Tejas is the original version. It's the Mexican version, the Hispanic, Spanish language version.
I don't think what it was. Dallas, Tejas, and Tejas. Oh, I'll tell you what it was. It was Tenacious D and Jack Black, and they're touring. And they kept telling all the cities, and they kept saying Tejas. And I'm like, where's he going? Where's this Tejas place?
Saying that outside of Texas, it would probably be a little weird unless you're like super south near Mexico kind of region. But Tejas, Texas, same thing. In the Spanish language, the X is kind of pronounced like a huh. So it's kind of same thing. But also, when it's Tejas, it's Tejas instead of X whenever you're really saying it.
Like Tahoe and places like that, when that's different. Yeah. They don't say the J to that. Yeah. Not at all. I do have to call it an evening, I'm sorry, because I've got quite an important meeting in very shortly that we will tell you about in the coming weeks on Sidetrack, but you're all going to be very, very happy. If it all comes together, everyone is going to be very, very happy. So
when it all comes together.
If it all comes together, let's go with the big if. I could still put my foot in my proverbial mouth and screw it all up. And we all know the chances of that are better than 50-50. So,
if you put your foot in the mouth, as long as it's like coming from the front and you get like the toe in there, all you got to do is get your teeth, rip open the hole, and you can still speak out of the bottom of that shoe. I'm just saying. Well, I'm imagining a boot.
Matt's there to stop me. So Matt's going to be there to hold my hand and make sure that's anything too stupid. But fingers crossed, people, we're going to be very, very happy. But I do have to call it an evening, sir.
Yes.
But we covered everything.
I believe we have. Those were our 3 main topics. If you got any final thoughts on aliens, unions, or cable.
I need a wee.
That sounds like a good cable.
That's how all of our best videos end. With me running for a week.
The one good thing about cable coming back is there will be built-in pee breaks again.
Yeah, that's it. And we can get back to TV that actually makes sense. But yeah, hopefully. I gotta go.
It was a great stream. I'll hang just for a couple minutes. If y'all want to chat in the chat, we'll hang.
Cool. Leave it on Sidetrack, mate. You're right. Just so you'll get more views. So
yeah,
and I will. Guys, I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a live tomorrow afternoon just to talk about the video I've got going on tomorrow. So I'll see you tomorrow. All right.
Boy.
Have a good
fun.
See you later, guys. Bye.
See ya. Whew. That's a lot of me right there. Let's go right there. All right. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Aliens are, but far doubts of them arriving. Hold up. Let me decipher that. Aliens are, but far doubts of them arriving. You believe aliens are existent, but they are far away, and you don't think they're going to come here. So do you subscribe to the thought process or the concept of us being in a dark forest, the human civilization, that we're in a dark forest technically in space? Yeah? Would that be right? Where we are, of course, an intelligent species. I'm going to put him back on here just so he can do some funny things. I just saw Jay doing this down there. I was like, how do I do it? How do I mess with him?
Don't forget to go over to MCubed and subscribe. From next week, we're only going to be on MCubed on a Wednesday, talking all of this stuff. So if you want to join us, you have to go and subscribe to MCubed. Come do you know, as soon as I had my Wii, my brain came back and I remembered we hadn't done that.
Well, see, Matt made me all the fancy little banners and stuff for it, and I need to add them onto this part as well. I forget things. Surprise.
And next week, with your permission, it will be a Stargate video because I've got an idea, but we'll talk about it next week. So we'll see you Sunday and see you next week on MCubed.
Sounds like a plan.
Bye.
Woo! Stargate, I'm in. That's all you had to say. I'm in.
Just a quick sexy pose, and I'm out of here.
ASMR on out of here. There goes Jay. Our system is tiny, or his solar system is tiny in the galaxy among thousands. Yeah. I think the Dark Forest is. If I had to try to subscribe to something instead of just kind of being all like, well, sure, yeah, maybe, possibly, I would think we might be in a dark forest. Hopefully, of course, I still want aliens to like be visiting us. That'd be cool. That'd be really nice. Maybe not really nice. It could be kind of scary. But I would still want that to maybe be a thing. I'd still like maybe there to be more out there that we are interacting with that maybe the public doesn't necessarily know about, all that kind of stuff. That'd be really cool. It'd be cool if we could advance our civilization and do all kinds of cool stuff, right? If we're in a dark forest, that makes things harder. I think maybe that if we're in a dark forest, there might be some people able to get through that dark forest. There might be other intelligent civilizations that have gotten through that dark forest in the past and have tried to get back. There might be some that are trying to get back constantly. I'm not sure. That's what I would like to think, because I really do like the idea of the dark forest, where maybe since our galaxy is a little smaller than a lot and we're so just kind of out there and we're not near too many other galaxies. I mean, we're near plenty, but like it's harder to get to us. Maybe they struggle to get to us. Maybe if we want to bring it back to Star Wars Rebels, sorry, circuitry, they use the Force to bring them through a little like bit of wild space at a certain point to bring the Lasat species back to its home planet. If there was, and they have trouble getting there because of like there's solar flares and there's all kinds of different things that keep them from getting there. If we have something similar that just makes it hard to navigate, not necessarily solar flares or anything of the sort, but something that just makes it hard to get to our planet, that would make sense. That makes sense to me. Because if there is intelligent life, why wouldn't we have heard from it? Why wouldn't? I mean, there's so many little things, but that might give a little more validity to there have been some in the past. There are some now, possibly. There could be some in the future. That doesn't necessarily address interdimensional kinds of things, so I'm not entirely sure. But because aliens could be a whole interdimensional aspect of things, and that changes the conversation almost entirely. Ish. Work. Yes. Doesn't seem like it should be hard to verify Mexico's claims. Then we don't have to speculate. That's a great point. Excuse me. With the DNA already been taken out of the aliens, quote unquote, and it B, not human. Is it close enough to like a genome of a humans that it might be a pygmy of sort that like was a small population of like a subspecies of human that died out 1,000 years ago, 1,200 years ago? Or do we got an alien on our hands? If the DNA doesn't fit, that's kind of the damning, or not necessarily damning, but the thing that it raises our inquisitiveness that much more. Because I'd love for that to be the case, and they actually are aliens. But then it actually raises dozens more questions. Of course, I haven't heard enough, and obviously I got a little Spanglish down, but I don't know Spanish enough. I want to read, and I want to read the captions from the actual, I guess, video released from the Mexican government to hear what was legitimately said, hear, like, I guess, the facts that were presented and stuff like that. Sorry, I was behind, all caught up. Ancient humans sent the asteroid to kill the dinosaurs so they could colonize the Earth because we fucked up Mars, our original homeworld. Is that the next Roland Emmerich movie? Because I'm in. I'm totally in. Real quick, let me catch up. Unless humanity can either solve the light speed limit or find a wormhole solution such as a Stargate, we will be limited to exploding a small portion of our galaxy. Perhaps an alien race will do so. Yeah, definitely possible. So I know sci-fi is going to love this little nod, but we've been playing Starfield on GCubed a whole bunch. So don't forget to subscribe there. Actually, let me put this right here because it's just us right now. So we'll toss this on there. Starfield has a gravity drive that gravity jumps. And I like that idea a lot. But we'd either have to solve light speed, find a wormhole solution similar to a gravity drive solution, essentially a wormhole, just done in a little bit different way, I guess. Or maybe an alien civilization could help us. I don't know. Harris, you could type the words into Google Translate to see what it says in English. Yeah, but that's... Spanish is a Romance language, and everything it says is not necessarily exactly what it means because it could be a little more metaphorical than the literal translation. I don't know. The Google Translate doesn't work super well with a lot of languages. And but that's also, I'd have to type up or copy and paste the entire transcript. I'm just trying to watch the video and have the subtitles be in a different language. But it would, and I know Spanish. I know the rules to the language enough where I could go back into Google Translate and probably make some sense of it. I just would like to see, I would like to see the English subtitles coming from the Spanish company that probably aired the video, if that makes sense. So the English subtitles come from a Spanish speaker's mind and not necessarily an English speaker's mind translating the Spanish. I'd like a Spanish speaker to translate it into English, if that makes more sense. I feel like it would be a little less lost in translation at that point, which would be nice. Okay, real quick, did I miss anything else back here? Does it seem like it should be hard? Okay, that was the where we started. If we were in a dark forest, turn the bloody torch on. I mean, we did, though. We turned the torch on by sending radio signals out everywhere. And that's one of those things, at least in the last 50, 60 years, we've had radio signals just maybe closer to 70, 80 years now. We've had radio signals just going out into the ether, going out into the void, going out into the deep darkness of space. What's going to answer? Who did we send those out to? And why did we send them out in general? Just for the sake of sending them out originally? I know that was kind of like the idea of like time capsule of our planet. That sounds kind of sad though, like we're not going to be here or something like that. Hopefully we still are. I'd like to have all languages beamed into my mind. Don't know that. Don't know which one. Heard Starfield is a mix of SG and correct or no? Starfield feels like, just while we're on that real quick, you humans are so noisy, drawing attention to yourselves more and more. If it's really 30% unknown DNA, there's no way it's human of any kind. That is true. If it's really 30%, I mean, we have Denisovians. We have the Dragon Man, which is another humanoid species that we found on the planet. We have Neanderthals. Could that 30% DNA be something similar? Hominid, not necessarily Homo sapien or Homo something, but a hominid. I'm not sure. Cube fall off signals. You wouldn't see a torch shining on the moon. Yeah. But we sent out like the torch that we sent out was more so radio signals, whatever the worst. Well, we're a sci-fi oriented kind of group of folk. We can figure out a good word use for what did I say? Significant. I don't know. Well, I was trying to make a cool word up right there. I'm not Shakespeare. I ain't that fancy. But missing link, fix that blood chain. Hey, that's interesting. I heard it was like Star Trek or Star Wars, I believe. Okay, real quick, back on Starfield. I would actually put it closer to The Expanse. It feels much more so like The Expanse, mixed in with the ability to jump. It almost feels Star Warsy in the jump aspect. It's like a hyperdrive, but it's the grav drive like we talked about. So it's not a hyperdrive just shooting them out there. There is a technical explanation for it, which is pretty cool. No one has TVs that could receive the signal anymore. Why would aliens? That's also a great point. Aliens might not even have technology that can understand what we're sending out there. So we may have sent out this torch technically, but will people actually see it? And can they see it through the dark forest, or are they just getting glimpses of something? People are big mad over that game. People are big happy over that game too, and I'm more of the big happy aspect of it. I played for an hour yesterday. I usually play for a lot more, but it's a fun game. Now on alien ship collides with Voyager 2 and crashes. Now we have the tech. I mean, there's so many little different things that could happen or may have happened that add validity or subtract validity to theories, conspiracies, etc., etc. I just don't know what to think. I do really like the Dark Forest idea. If I personally have to subscribe to something, I'm thinking we're in a dark forest. We might have seen all these signals out there. We've probably been visited before by people that were either lost or stuck or trying to take a break on the way somewhere else. Who knows? Was it Sci-Fi Quest or was it Brett's Build? Somebody said it earlier. They came, they needed to go to the bathroom, so they made a bathroom stop on Earth, and they got stuck, which is kind of like, well, that could have happened. It legitimately could have happened. So I don't know what to believe. I'm really not sure, and that's kind of half the fun in it, is that we get to kind of just decipher all these little bits of information that are just given to us over time. But the Battlestar Galactica found Earth in 1980. Voyager 2 has been traveling for 40 years and is only 0.002% of a light year away. But it was traveling with technology we had 40 years ago. If we were to send something out now, would it catch up? And how quickly would it catch up? Howdy, Stranger Times. I know Stranger Times is one of Shelley's favorite things in the world. And paranormal stuff is great. So if you're a big paranormal fan, Stranger Times is the place to be. Y'all know. But any hominid would have over 90% identical. Okay. I wasn't entirely sure on that. That makes sense, though. So if it's 30% non-human DNA, what do we have here? What do we have? I want to know. Of course. And hello. It always makes me happy. I hear people saying, hello, Steve. My dad's name is Steve, too. I'm like, hey, it always cracks me up. You can be my British dad from afar. 30 kilometers. It's only 30 kilometers? Wait. It's you're joking, right? It's gone more than 30 kilometers. We could catch up to that quickly nowadays. That wouldn't even be a mammal, right? Like, right? I'm sure it's more than that. Let me Google it. I got the fancy laptop in front of me. How far has the Voyager traveled? Is it going to just give me Voyager 1 or 1 and 2? Voyager 1 has reached a distance of 23.381 billion kilometers, or 14.528 billion miles from Earth. and 24.483 billion kilometers, 14.592 billion miles, from the sun. Okay, interesting. That's the first one, though. Voyager 2. Let me type that one in. 12 billion. The spacecraft is now in its extended mission of studying interstellar space. It's been operating for 46 years and 21 days as of September 11th, 2023, so 2 days ago. As of August 2023, it has reached a distance of 134 AU, 20 billion kilometers, 12 billion miles from Earth. All right, that seems a little bit, that makes more sense. 30 kilometers per second. Oh, okay, I got off screen or I would have seen that. Oops. That makes a lot more sense. One of my favorite missions in Starfield that we've played so far, Sci-Fi Quest would remember this one. It was one of the earlier ones that was kind of intriguing. You just kind of hopped up on this planet and were like, interesting. There was an old spaceship from Earth that was sent and has been traveling. It was a generational ship and had traveled over 200 years to get to this planet. That when they show up, interesting enough, their technology is so mundane and out of date that the new technologies that the humans that surpassed them and jumped past them after the grav drive was invented are now down on this planet. And it's a planet that's used as like, it's the Vegas of the solar systems, essentially, of a couple of different solar systems. It's essentially a resort planet, and this whole 200-year-old plus generation ship that has had countless numbers of people come and just grow on it and be excited to finally reach its destination, get there. They can't even contact the people on the planet. And you have to kind of figure out a little work around all of it. And there are a couple different ways you can do it. It is decision-based. So that's fun. That's a really good aspect of the game. But I'd like that idea of if we send the Voyager and Voyager to these different places, what's stopping us from, if we start using nuclear energy in our spaceships, if we find a way to actually do a grav jump, a hyper jump, wormhole jump, however we want to actually title it as, we're going to just jump way past these people. 163 kilometers per second is the fastest vehicle so far. Is that in space or on Earth with gravity and acted on it? Because if it's in space, technically that could go faster. But we'd have to figure out a way to... We'd have to figure out a few different things for that, honestly. These science types claim to be smart. Get these aliens to some top scientist and broadcast it live when the whole world knows at once. Yeah. Because that's the thing. You have a whole lot of smart people all over this planet, and not all of them are going to agree on certain things. There's going to be a whole multitude of things to disagree about, or at least question each other about. And one way to not do that is to have it live streamed the entire time. But scientists don't necessarily want their work live streamed. Obviously, this is fun stuff to live stream. That would be really interesting for the human species to have live stream. But who's going to work under those conditions? And also, what government would allow that to happen? Because they don't know what's going to happen either. And that's the only issue, I guess, there is what government would sign off on that. As great of an idea as it is for the human species, probably making us feel closer as a species and really maybe realigning humanity together in a lot of ways. It might not happen because governments want that kind of control and that power and wouldn't let that kind of stuff out there, or at least be that transparent to everybody. And if they were that transparent to everybody, what's stopping another government from coming in there and doing a military strike or something on it, shooting the camera? They know where that camera is just because of the pinpoint, or they can pinpoint the location of the area from the stream eventually. Pretty simply, I would think, with modern technology. And if it's a government organization, they can figure that out. And why wouldn't they go take that? Why wouldn't they go take it out? They don't want... I'm sure there's a lot of people on this planet that are in charge that don't necessarily want some things to get out there. And that would be one of those things that's like very, very hesitant. I'm alien, a special species. Real quick. Back surprise meeting with boss. Ooh, good meeting, bad meeting? Hopefully good meeting. See, you said Sabine. I thought we were going back to Star Wars. Sabine Hassenfelder is a fantastic YouTube educator who debunks a lot of rubbish from mainstream media. Ooh, I'm writing that name down. Corridor Crew is really good at debunking stuff as well. And I'm not like there for the debunking stuff, but I want to have a full picture before a thought can actually be formed, you know? Was okay meeting? Normal. Good. Okay, real quick. Sabine Hassenfelder. Sabine Hassenfelder. Ooh, yeah? Got it written down. That's interesting. So my understanding is there's nothing on this earth that is more than 15% different from our DNA. So 30% definitely means alien. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Duh. Like we're more closely related to like birds than crabs, obviously. And then like there's different levels, but the furthest thing we're not related to is like 15% away. It's like 10, 12, 15%, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But definitely, I like Sabine too. Sabine's great. Real quick, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, when they land and Drax threw the ball. Oh, at the kid, at the kid's head. Do you think that would happen here? That'd be kind of funny. What about Maya? She's kind of like a space whale. I'm not familiar. Or Moya. Who is Moya? Oh, I just got a whole bunch of different people popping up on Google. I'm not familiar with Moya. She's a theoretical physicist. Is that Moya or Sabine? Confirmation from bacteria or similar. Contamination from bacteria or similar. Oh, okay. That can make sense. Farscape. Okay, that makes sense. I've watched the first 3 episodes of Farscape, and then I decided to watch. I really liked it actually, but I wanted to watch Stargate so much of the time. I decided to watch Moya's Farscape. Okay, I decided to watch Stargate instead, and I haven't watched Farscape since. Seen the first 3 episodes. I would have to rewatch those first 3 episodes, but it's something I do really want to watch. What's Safak West saying? If I'll believe aliens are visiting when they abduct me and oh god, I should have finished. Moya is the spaceship. Okay. I just remember I loved Claudia Black's character. I wanted to call her Val for a second. I love Claudia Black's character there. I loved the big dude, the big puppet, the angry puppet. He was good. And then the little tiny guy was great. I don't remember their names, but I do really want to actually catch up on Farscape. That'd be a good thing to catch up on. But Stargate, and y'all know, I love Stargate. I thought I was gonna like it so much that I started watching it instead of watching Farscape. And look, 2 years later, here we are, talking about Stargate all the time, weekly, sometimes daily. And I wouldn't have it another way because I love me some Stargate. It's great. But I really should catch up in Farscape. I should catch up in Battlestar Galactica and a couple others as well. They're all great. But yeah, we're about an hour and a half into here. I might start heading out of here. Do we have anything else we want to just talk about? Hang out? I can hang out for another 10, 15 if we really want to. But yeah, what are we thinking? I really hope to get abducted, but it seems like they take the weak skeptics instead. For real! Like, come on, get us the good stuff. Blinded by no. I was probed. I want Robert Carlyle back in Stargate. He died really quickly. Even if not SGU, he could be an alien. Could we get Robert Carlyle as an alien? That'd be really nice. Okay. We got Robert Carlyle and SGU for just a little bit, but you know who I really want that was also a colonel in Stargate is Michael Rooker. Played a freaking colonel. I think, was it season 8, season 9 of Stargate? They're off-world in one, and he's like the colonel of one of like the alpha sites. Doesn't show him dying or anything like that. So Michael Rooker could be there. And you want to bring it back to Guardians of the Galaxy or Walking Dead. I love me some Merle. Love me some Michael Rooker no matter what. He's great. Isn't Carlisle busy with the Full Monty TV show? You said Carlisle. My brain went to Robert Patrick. I was picturing Robert Patrick from Terminator, who's also in the first 2 episodes of SGU. Carlisle is doing the Full Monty TV show right now, but if he's offered Stargate, I'm pretty sure he'd come back to Stargate in a heartbeat over that. Hello, Alien World Airsoft. I like that name. That's cool. Doctor Who is affected by the strikes, but only in America. The actors can't promote it in America, which could hurt its Disney Plus 60th anniversary special International Awesomeness in November. Yeah, that could hurt. I'm not the biggest Doctor Who guy, so I'm not like super familiar with everything, but yeah. You said yes, you would. Hi there, Alien World. Anyone notice how the puddle jumper in Stargate looks kind of like the Tic Tac UFO? Kind of. Ooh. Real quick, let me scroll back up. There was a comment that was on the Sidetrek. Can I bring up Sidetrek on Facebook over here? Hold up. I really like this theory that maybe I won't be able to bring it up. I'll try to memorize it and bring it back from there. I meant to write exploding, not exploding the near galaxy. It is interesting that the recent sci-fi show The Ark has human space travelers blow up a planet orbiting Proxima Centauri while terraforming. Interesting. Is The Ark worth the viewing? I've debated it for a little while. Is it worth the viewing? Because it seems pretty cool, but also it seems not the best made product, I guess, is the easiest way of putting that. But I'm intrigued. Exploring. Yes. Without the booster engine, things extended the way the puddle jumper looks when it goes through the Stargate. Yeah, no, it very much looks like a Tic Tac. So the really cool. I wish. Let me. Okay, I'm gonna think about it and I'm gonna try to find it on my phone while we're talking here. So in Sidetrek the other day, I believe it was a lady, I believe, and she posted about a theory she had. Here it is. It was Adrian Carter, so that could be a girl or a guy. Here's the theory. This post on the Sidetrek Facebook group, y'all go check it out. The one where it has Matt from SGU, and then it has a bunch of priors and Ori over here. Yes, here it is. Here's it is. Google it, then click image up top, find it visually. Yeah, I was trying to, but I have to like log back in through Facebook and all that because I'm on a different tab or different Chrome, not tab. I have different Chromes open up, and then I have different tabs on each one. Like I have a different Google account, have different Chromes open up, if that makes sense. So I'm on the MCubed stuff right now, not like my personal stuff, which is why my Facebook isn't just popping up. The Ark, 6 out of 10 for me is worth a look. Okay, so let me read y'all this real quick. I really like this. Adrian Carter put it in the Sidetrek Facebook group, which if you're not a part of, come on. Facebook, Sidetrek. It's pretty simple to find. Anyway, this is the thought. Stargate theory. Here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm new to the group and would love to get your thoughts on this, as I know the group would have has a lot of love for Stargate. I found a giant hidden Easter egg in Stargate, and I think it might have been the plot for Stargate Universe in its 3rd, 4th, and 5th seasons that were originally planned. In Season 9, Episode 3 of SG-1, titled Origin, there is a prior teaching in the background from the Book of Origin. He's reading a story, and he says, as he lay there, dying in the sun, the sands of the desert all around him, Petrus spoke to the rock, not with his lips, but with his mind, and the rock wept tears of fresh water, and his thirst was quenched. Now, this sounds extremely similar to the SGU episode Air, Part 3, where Matt is on the desert planet dying in the sun, unconscious, when he's dreaming, hallucinating, and the alien creature is somehow in his hallucination talking to him. After his hallucination, while he's on the floor, water springs from the desert sand and saves his life. Now, the big question here is, why is Matt's story in the Book of Origin, even though it was written long before the events of SGU? That, in general, I just love that theory a lot. The Beachhead episode, yeah, it was. It was. I mean, I was a fan of the episode in general, just for the SGU aspects of it. I do like SGU a lot, but wow, Dan hard to type with a vape in hand. Those 2 non-human bodies released in the Mexican UFO hearing look just like the Asgard. Oh yeah, we talked, I think, for like a little over half an hour to start this thing off with it. Great. It was great talk, but I'm so excited for just what that could be. I can't wait to learn more about it, more and more as more things come out. But Adrian's Stargate theory, I'm a huge fan of. No worries. It's still there for you whenever you want to check it up. SGA is the greatest. I love SGA, of course, but yeah, it's pretty easy to remember that episode in SGU. It's pretty straightforward, and you wouldn't think about it being part of the priors in the Ori's Book of Origin. But do you think that has anything to do with the idea that maybe SGU could have been in a horseshoe-shaped universe, and we are kind of in a cyclical kind of thing? Maybe it doesn't end, and it had something to do with the beings or whatever they were that created the, I guess, the things that should not have been there in SGU. All the things that we were questioning at the end were like, hold up, who created this? The creators, or whoever you actually would refer to them as. I'm gonna have to go to Sidetrek Facebook to check that out. Yes, I think it's about 2 days old, so go check on Sidetrek Facebook. But it's a really good little typed up. It's not an expose, but a little typed up paragraph. I liked it. The people dying one by one, freaky. Yeah, just a tad. The Ori were freaky. They were creepy in general. Just all of them. The followers got way too cultish way too quickly, and obviously you would kind of become that way if you see a bunch of people bringing famine and destruction to your world very simply. But still, I like the idea, and I think it ropes Stargate back together as a whole and keeps a lot of things. It's complicated, but I think it keeps it more simple in a way where it doesn't necessarily have to do. They could do multiverse, they could do time travel, and they have done these things. But I think it is simplified in a way where it's cyclical, kind of in a Star Wars way, where it's like poetry. It rhymes with Star Wars. Similar things happen time and time again because the world is cyclical in nature, and that makes sense. But does that make sense in a Stargate world? Whatever star we're talking about, Star Wars, Star Trek, Starfield, Stargate, we got all of them on the brain, except Star Trek. I don't have that much on the brain. Oops. Hi, Sandy. Shelly, do we have the both of y'all? I hope y'all are cooking. Also on Facebook, Shelly and Sandy are always cooking up really nice things, and I like to cook a lot, so I love seeing people cook up good food. We need more xenomorphs on our screen. We will get some soon. Fede Alvarez's Aliens film is coming out, I think, early 2024, mid 2024. It was gonna come out this year, but I'm not positive. I think it might be 2024, not this year. I think it might have been coming out this year. But there will also be a TV show, I believe, is still being produced and made, and it's a Noah Hawley alien TV show. And I freaking love Noah Hawley. Noah Hawley is one of my favorite creators out there in general right now, and he's not someone that is talked about enough. If y'all have never seen Legion, I think it might be the best comic book TV show ever made. Maybe not more so than Watchmen. I think pound for pound, Watchmen's great because it's one season and it's a mini series, but for only being 3 seasons, Legion's amazing what it does, and it does get very like conceptual, and it's powers and stuff, superhero powers and stuff, but it gets very sci-fi in a sense where there's some timey-wimey things going on. There's some very cerebral things going on with telepathy and telekinesis and all these different type of things, and that's just kind of part of the main powers of the character because he is Charles Xavier's kid. These things happen. But Noah Hawley made the show Legion, and I am really excited to see what he does with the Alien show. Him, and I'm a big fan of Fede Alvarez as well. I do like Fede Alvarez. So I'm intrigued. I just saw the Monarch thing. I'm excited for this. We're getting a MonsterVerse show too. Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I'm excited. I'm very excited about that. It looks excellent. I think Shmook and I were talking about this the other day. For afterthoughts, obviously, we're currently doing Ahsoka. What other afterthoughts? We could take aftershots with afterthoughts. That might be a fun little thing. Legion was cut short, and it was it's one of the best villains as well. I love Farouk, just so good. So good. That's what I was saying. Afterthoughts, though. What other afterthoughts should we do over here on MCubed? Schmook and I can do them together. We can do them individually and have different ones that we kind of jump at. Either way, we are going to, I think about the Continental, Monarch. I'm iffy about doing Loki. If we had started doing one with Loki season 1, I'd be more gung-ho about it. But I feel like we need to start from the get-go for afterthoughts. You know what I mean? Take care, Harris Epic Stream. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Brett's Builds. We will see y'all back here next week, of course. And probably, I don't know if we're going to do a Theater Thursday. We'll either do a Theater Thursday or a Film News Friday on MCubed this week. So keep your eyes out for that. GCube, though, we shall be doing Starfield. I know Sci-Fi Quest was asking about that earlier. We'll do Starfield this evening, I believe. I have a IMAX screening to go see tonight, a free IMAX screening for A Haunting in Venice. And I don't know if Kenneth Branagh is going to show up. I would like him to. I don't know if he can show up to this, though, with the strikes going on. So probably not. Usually it would be something that he would show up to. Kind of sucks, but hey, at least I still get to see the movie early in an IMAX. And for free in IMAX, which is my favorite part. Any thoughts on Foundation from... I love Foundation. I've watched the first 2 episodes of the new season, and I really liked what I saw. And I keep forgetting about it. I guess Star Wars went on my brain, and I started my Rebels rewatch, and I have been Star Warsing a lot. And I keep forgetting about Foundation. I finished What We Do in the Shadows, Only Murders in the Building. Every week when it comes out, I watch it. Futurama, every week when it comes out, I watch it. I didn't have my Apple. My Apple had ran out, and I guess I never renewed it or whatever. So I had to put a new card on Apple, all that kind of stuff. That's what it was. I think my card had expired on Apple at some point, and I had to just re-sign up. Not re-sign up, but just put a new card in there, do whatever. So now I'm an Apple subscriber again, and just because I wasn't watching it as it came out, I kind of got behind on Foundation, and I feel bad about getting behind on Foundation because I love it. I have here. Let me hold up. I'll be right back. Let me 30 seconds, and I'm going to show you my entire Foundation collection. Oh. How did I make that? There were a couple books that I did not grab because there were just too many. But this is the second half of some. These are all Isaac Asimov. I don't think you can ever have too many Isaac Asimov books. Because I got plenty. 1 stack, 2 stacks. Hey! All shows need afterthoughts, dude. Yeah, I agree, but as they come out, right? Should we do ones that have already aired and it's season 2, season 3, or something like that? But yeah, Lee Pace is excellent. Lee Pace is excellent at everything. And yeah, there's a lot of books. I just ran up my very steep staircase to go do it. I don't have the longest staircase. I'm on the second story of my little townhouse here, is where I stay. And my entire staircase leading up to it it's very steep, and I've turned it into a bookshelf. So I have a whole lot of books out there. Are you Stormy in disguise? No, but Stormy would be proud. Stormy would be proud if I showed him my Isaac Asimov books stack like this. He'd immediately turn around and probably grab his too, which would be pretty funny. But yeah, no, I feel like Stormy in disguise. Honestly, I'm going to just keep the books here so I can have a little armrest. That's not too shabby. For us in the UK, that's the first floor. Yeah. I'm just going to... Did I say the second floor? I meant upstairs. I'm just going to find grammar caveats and try to find a way around it. But that... Honestly, That's something I feel like would be just like, it'd be a random thing to do, but it would be a fun little debate to have. Like, what is the ground floor? What's the first floor? What's the second floor? And when it comes to a basement, is a basement sub-level 1, or is a basement and then it goes sub-level 1? Or is basement sub-level 1 and then the first floor after that would be basement or sub-level 2? It'd be interesting. Totally unrelated to film or sci-fi, but it would be just a fun little debate to have. I had 3,000 or 4,000 paperbacks in my garage. No one wanted the. I ended up throwing them away. I still feel bad about it. All sci-fi, Peter. I wanted them. Peter. Probably halfway across the world though, so that might not have worked. But damn, that sucks. What did you just throw them away, or did you give them to like a Goodwill, to give them to like an old bookstore, an old library or something? Hopefully they're out there. Hopefully, if you just threw them away, hopefully homeless people have become very educated in the UK. It's in London. It's a crime. Peter! You summoned the mob after you, Peter. Watch out. Watch out. All the book readers are coming after you. But you know what? I think Asimov is a good place to end it. I do need to catch up on Foundation, the show, which I think is doing justice to old Isaac Asimov. Asimov's laws of robotics, Asimov's laws of humanity. The man was a genius. Nothing short of it. I tried some of the hardbacks charities. Oh, good. That's always great. I bet someone might have grabbed them at the dump. Totally. If I walk by any trash can and I see like that many books, I'm just gonna start. I would just start grabbing. I would come back with my car if I don't already have it, and I would just toss them in the trunk and keep driving. It'd be great. That'd be a good debate. There's a movie called The 13th Floor. Isn't that would be the 12th in the UK? Ooh, that'd be okay. I don't know why you saying that just made me think of like a fun little movie that would be. Well, you could do like a funny spoof horror comedy. Steve, Stranger Times could think about this one. Like a horror comedy where maybe it's haunting the 13th floor, but then you get a British person come up and you're like, well, this is the 12th floor or something like that. And they have to completely like screw it. I don't know. I'm spitballing ideas, but that'd be a funny little movie if done correctly. Any first editions? He was ahead of his time. I feel bad not reading much. Hey, never feel bad about it. There's always books and audiobooks out there, you know? Honestly, I have not been reading the way I should as of late. For this entire year, really. I started off last year. I read a whole lot, and the beginning of this year, I think I was reading a bunch, and then I think my birthday in early February kind of rolled around, and I just haven't been reading as much as I should since then. For a little over half the year. No, some rare ones. Ooh, damn! Did you keep the rare ones, or any rare ones? I guess there's actually a haunted hotel that doesn't have a 13th floor. Oh, well, a lot of hotels technically don't have 13th floors. But if somebody from the UK comes in and says, well, this is technically the 13th floor, I don't know. I feel like there's some comedy gold in there somewhere. I haven't thought much of it through, though. You'll saw my thinking through at the moment, and it was about 20 seconds of just, huh? And piecing something together in the brain. But yeah, no. Reading, I think, is something that's not gone out of style per se, but it's something that not as many people do as they ever have. And I think that's kind of there might be a caveat to that as well, as there are more people than there ever have been. So maybe there are more readers than there ever have been, but we just don't know because it feels like less per capita sometimes. I'm not entirely sure. I wish I'd taken pictures of the spines. Didn't think until after. Yeah. It's one of those things where you're like, I got to get rid of a bunch of stuff, just clean it out, moving, doing all this kind of stuff. And then, it's just easy to not do at the time. And you remember it later and you're like, crap, that's right. I should have done that. It happens. Well, we went 20 minutes after I said I might be here for 10, 15. That's all good, though. That's fun. Layla Malloy. There we go. Malloy? Yeah, I think Malloy. Malloy. I don't think Malloy with the O on top or the little. I don't know what to call that. I'm gonna go with Malloy. It's not only the Brits where ground floor equals first. Well, no, that's the thing. That's the thing. Is what hotels don't have a 13th floor? A lot don't. Garage sale versus boot sale. That's funny. It's not only the Brits. So okay, I'm from the U.S. obviously, so I'm thinking there's the ground floor, which is the first floor, and then there's a second floor, third floor, fourth floor, etc. Right? Apparently, Malloy is close enough, or Malloy is close enough. Malloy, either one. I try to pronounce things right, but I don't know the different the differentiations of the characters of the A and the O and what I should do with each one. You know what I mean. But that's where I was confused the other day. Is people in England call the first floor the ground floor. Well, no. First floor the ground floor, and then the second floor the first floor, third floor the second floor, so on and so forth. And that didn't make sense to me until Sci-Fi Quest about 20 seconds later said, "Oh, Malloy, Malloy." Okay, I'll try again later. Ground floor equals 0 floor. See, I don't like that though. I do, but I don't. We'll get into this whole debate another day. I do like it as an actual debate topic. It's silly, it's fun. And one person's floor is another person's ceiling. Sci-Fi, you're joking around here because you're the one who came up with this debate in the first place. He's puppeteering, y'all. He's puppeting the strings around here. That's okay. Keeps it easy on me. My brain doesn't have to work as hard until it does. So basement is -1. That's where I get confused. That's where, because I want to say there's probably the basement. There's the ground floor, which is 1, and then sub-level 1. So I don't know. Is there a 0? But the 0 can't be the ground floor. No, I didn't. Sarcastic. Instigator, my friend. I love it. I'm an instigator too. It's how you get things done sometimes. SG0. I don't know. This is when I just bang my head up against the wall or just sit on some books and try to what's that little, have y'all seen that funny little video of, I think it's a boy in a class in China or something. He has his hands on his book and he's just switches the page, looks at it and just it's like he's just putting it in his head. I wish that was the case. Maybe with Neuralink, whenever it comes along, that becomes a little more feasible. We'll see. Well, would you have SG grounded? Stargate grounded. That'd be funny. Let the knowledge flow in. Yes. Basement is a negative. Ergo, basement. Yes. We're going to end there and call it a day. I appreciate y'all for staying and being here this long. Y'all are the best. We will, I guess, call these strictly MCubed streams from now on, but Sidetrack shall be here as well. Jamie and hopefully Matt should be here most of the time as well. And if Matt wants to do double streams on his channel because he wants to grow as well, and we're all just kind of doing that. We're in growth mode, y'all. I like that. It's fun. We'll see exactly what next week's going to look like, and we'll keep y'all posted in the process. Come back, check tomorrow on MCubed, of course, Thursday, Friday for either A Theater Thursday or A Film News Friday. I don't think I'll be able to get to both, but one or the other. And we should be doing some Starfield streams over on GCubed as well. Pretty simple. Same thing as MCubed. Spelled the same way. All that. Just with a G. Switch that one letter. You got us. We got you. But thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all. A number system that skips 0 is primitive. We don't skip. Who skips 0? When did you skip 0? Basement is 0. I'm going with basement. But we have sellers. Same thing. That one's semantics. I love your rambling topic. It's great. Thank you. I'm a rambler if you've never noticed. This was a great stream. Thank y'all for being here again. I'm gonna do a double outro. I'm gonna play the MCubed and Sidetrack intro / outro, and then I'm gonna play just the MCubed one. Call it a day after that. Doubling up, double or nothing, as they say. Cheers, Peter. I hope y'all have a great day, great evening, wherever you are. All the above. Adios.